Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Valentine's Day. Hope you're having a good Friday evening. We've got some thunderstorms that are out there, and we've got a lot to talk about weather wise. Turd Ferguson's ready to go. Let's go. So is Edward and Jeremy. And hey, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Man, winter. This winter is brutal, and it's just not even close to over, to be honest with you. So here's what we've got. I know I can't wait for 90 degrees too, Adam. All right, here's what we've got. We got many things that are happening. Number one, some thunderstorms that are popping up. Check this out on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. In fact, you can see from Waldron a little bit of storm activity that's developing. And this is that weather system that's on the way. This is the weather system that we've been watching the last several days. It's really impacted the West Coast. And got to give a shout out to my mom. She's having an engagement party out in California. I'm working tonight, but that big party that she's having is in California, and California got blasted by this storm as they had mudslides and landslides and heavy, heavy, heavy rain. But there's a look at some thunderstorm activity. Let's check out a weather camera because I was seeing a few lightning strikes. Let's see if we can catch a lightning strike on this camera at Waldron. So this is looking off to the southeast as this storm is passing a little bit south of Waldron. But every now and then, an occasional lightning flash. Not only that, I could see a little bit of lightning. And Edward, my flight already happened on Thursday of yesterday, and so I'm obviously not on it. And then I would have been flying back Saturday evening into this big storm. Hey, there we go. We got some lightning on there. I knew we could catch a lightning bolt. So let's dive into the latest. If you got some questions, fire away. We're doing this Facebook Live a little early. Hope everybody's having a great Valentine's Day. Hopefully you're not watching this as you're out on a date with your significant other or your loved one or your wife or your husband. So but it's not the way to spend a Valentine's dinner. You can always watch the replay. Here's a look at the future track. This is what we've got going on, as you'll see, underdoing the amount of thunderstorm activity to the south, because as you can tell, there's thunderstorms already on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler, and the HRRR doesn't show it. However, as we move along in time, it does pick up on those storms. So we've got rain overnight tonight, and that rain will continue into the morning hours, on and off, not super widespread. Kenzie's like, me and my boyfriend watching together. Okay, as long as you're both watching and not one or the other is not paying attention. So that's okay, I guess. Here's a look at Saturday, late morning into the afternoon. Rain starts to develop even more. Now, the Razorback baseball game, it was not the best weather today. Tomorrow will be milder. However, we will have on and off rain chances. Now, this is where the plot thickens. Once again, a big low pressure system moving directly overhead. There's going to be some cold air wrapping around this low. And lo and behold, guess what we've got? The potential for a wintry mix. Now, I don't think this is going to bring major impacts. However, you'll see here Saturday night, those temperatures will be dropping because of a front coming in. And then that's going to lead to maybe a little bit of a wintry mix, a light dusting, perhaps, maybe a few tenths of an inch. I doubt it's more than an inch just because temperatures won't be cold enough. And the precipitation dries out pretty quick as that low pressure system moves overhead. So that's kind of like a warning shot off the bow for Mother Nature, because I'll tell you, that system's not even close to this system next week that we're expecting. But yeah, I know. And you know, it's also is like I've got to do the heart ball. In fact, I'm emceeing that tomorrow night. If some of you are going to be there, here's a look at the script for the heart ball that I'm going over. And so originally I was going to be gone for this because I was going to be at my mom's engagement party, then flying back. But there you go. There's the heart ball script, and should be a good night. But at the same time, it will be a cold night as that front works its way in. And Edwards seeing the diamond dust yesterday. We were mentioning that. We were talking about that. When you have a vapor, water vapor, goes immediately to a solid. That's called deposition. Temperatures were cold enough. And so I know I rebuke it as well. Oh, just wait, Jess. You're going to be really vomiting here in just a bit as I show you some stuff. But here's the snowfall accumulation map. Whoops, wrong one. That's the 7-day. We'll show you that here in a little bit. This is a snowfall accumulation map on the future track, and you'll notice just a little bit of light snow. Nothing super major. It's gone by the early morning hours. Now, what is a big story and a big talker is the severe weather potential. There's a look at the precipitation chances. It gets up to about 70% during the evening as that low pressure system moves directly overhead. Of course, there is uncertainty with that. Some of the models are showing a little more, some of the models are showing less. Kelly's asking, why is the temperature in the feels like temperature so different? Well, it's because there's a wind. When you have a wind, it's actually a really good question. A lot of people don't realize why the wind chill makes you feel colder. So your body obviously gives off heat. And in the wind, that body heat is being forced away from your body. So you can't trap in that heat anymore. And that's why it feels colder with the wind chill. Now, there are some differences with what wind chill doesn't calculate, and what it's not, what is not being taken into the calculation with wind chill. But if you're in the sun, that makes a difference than the shade. But yeah, if you have that wind, you're feeling it. And also, too, the temperatures were a lot colder in Harrison. Check this out. In fact, you can still see the icing on the mountains. And this is Gaither Mountain. Higher up on elevations, you've got that precipitation. And Jess says it was sleeting in Fort Smith. Yeah, it was. There was that. And remember, this is that Baja Blast energy. We were talking about it yesterday or 2 days ago, how these systems sometimes bring surprises. And this was, not necessarily a surprise to a couple of the models, but most of them did not show this. So here's a look at that little bit of sleet that popped up. Check that out. Show you as we put this into motion here. There's a little bit of that sleet. Let me go back just a little bit. Go to 18 hours back. And there's the system coming through. And there you can see, yeah, a little bit of sleet in the river valley and a little bit of sleet and snow granules in northwest Arkansas. Then that system kind of moves out pretty quick, and then that was it. And now we're seeing the rain and the thunderstorm activity. So just a wild weather pattern, that's for sure. Jesse says still icing in the trees in Missouri, and I saw your picture, and that was cool. That Baja Blast, take a shot. I still am a little disturbed by that Seal commercial with Seal as a seal singing "Kiss from a Rose." Seal song. It was funny, it was memorable, but it was a little disturbing. Let's go back to the temperatures here, and I'll show you the 2-day forecast timeline. So here's what we've got tomorrow. Baseball's looking good, but there will be a noticeable temperature drop that happens during the day as that cold front comes in. And as that cold front drops in, the temperatures are going to plummet. And by the evening, for the heart ball, we're getting down into the lower 30s, and then we get down into the upper 20s. Now, if we do get a lot of a mix, there's a potential that we might see maybe a little bit of some slick road conditions late Saturday evening. So that's kind of that. But also another big headline is this. Rename it to Cold Springs. A few non-severe storms will be possible in our area. That happens mainly in the morning hours. But I'm going to be, if I have time, taking a look at some photographs here, trying to do some tornado research because there's a chance that tornadoes could be abundant tomorrow. In fact, here is a look at the severe weather outlook. So we know this system's coming in. We know there's going to be a rapid return of moisture. We know there's storms that are down to the south already right now. Here is a look at that severe weather risk and the tornado potential. And you'll notice that we're out of it. We're not in it. We're not in that tornado potential. However, it's close and too close for comfort. So that's something that is going to be watched closely. Seal with Kiss with the Rose. Kiss from a Rose, or I don't even remember. Kiss from a Rose, I think, is the name of the song. But anyways, satellite radar showing that big cold front that's off to the west. The warm front's lifting northward. And look at this energy. So this is what I'm going to show you how impressive this system was as it gets wound up. It's amazing what these systems do. But we're going to go back to 48 hours. And see, there's not many weather graphics that you can easily do this. So this is why we kind of provide the live streams. You can look at weathercod and look at the satellite, but sometimes it's really tough to go back. Look at that system impacting the West Coast, very turbulent flights. And then you can see it kind of lifting back to the north, but then more energy swinging in on the backside. See, that's always the new system that's developing. So there's like multiple spins in the atmosphere. Let's talk about next week because I know a lot of people want to know about this. So here's the deal: we don't have all the details with this system coming in. And I'll show you when we're talking about long range forecasting, we're still a ways out. But that is a pretty impressive system out here. We'll play it so you can see it again. There's the big low that's making its way across the west coast. Look at that spin right there, churning up. Guess what? That one's expected to drop down. Now remember, models aren't handling everything perfectly. And by the way, there was Baja Blast energy. I'll point it out to you. See right here coming through, right there. That's the sleet that happened today. Right there. Go back in time. Friday, late morning. There it is. And we track that, and that's back from Baja, Mexico. The Baja Blast. That's why we call it that. And then that energy moved in and provided just a little bit of sleet and some light snow flurries and snow granules, but that was it. Okay, so this is what we've got going on. We've got some bad energy moving in. So first of all, this is the system that comes in tomorrow. Look at how this organizes. And remember, if you're watching this for the first time, we show vorticity a lot because it's a way to see the way the weather patterns are moving. It's a way to see systems, weather systems. But you got to remember that the spin doesn't represent where the precipitation is. The precipitation is usually out ahead of it. In fact, it is out ahead of it. Either that or sometimes it's right on top of it. But the lift is strongest out ahead of this spin. And then you'll see it moving east. And then there's a system that quiets down. It gets cold on Sunday behind that, but it's quiet. President's Day will be quiet. And then here comes more energy moving in. Now look at all this. There's so much of this embedded energy that it's going to be tough to determine exactly where this storm system is going to impact. As of now, it looks like as that energy moves in, the cold air is definitely going to be in place, and we will see some significant snowfall in parts of our weather coverage area. Winter weather will happen basically everywhere, at least as of now. Of course, that can always change. Things can happen. Let me show you the GFS model because we were looking at the European, and we'll just compare the two. The GFS stands for Global Forecast System. And there's the system, again, for tomorrow. A lot of lift, so a lot of precipitation out ahead of it. And there's the severe weather potential, pretty real deal severe weather potential. We'll look at some of the parameters. But then there's that system diving in. Now notice it's not quite as organized. It's a little quicker. And it zips through a little faster. Now, that leads to lesser totals. It also leads to a focus of heavier snow to the north. But now let's show you what we've got. Hot Springs probably won't get any tornadoes. It'll be too far northwest of that. This is box wine, slap the bag type of weather. I think that's a very good. That's a very good analogy. You're sitting there in the box wine, smacking it, slapping the bag, trying to get every last bit of drops out. But here's a look at Monday. Notice everything's quiet. Temperatures will be pretty close to freezing, honestly, Monday night before it even starts precipitating. Here's where things start going downhill. I have a weather talk, actually, at Grace Hill Elementary on Tuesday, and we're probably going to have to reschedule, to be honest with you. Looking at this and looking at the way it's coming in, take that back. It's not Grace Hill. It's Thomas Jefferson Elementary. And Lacey Moore is the teacher. So Mrs. Moore, I might have to, delay this because we do have the potential for snow. Now, unlike the system last week, just a few days ago. Unlike the system just a few days ago, it's hard to keep up now. But that was a freezing rain and sleet mixture with very little snow, right? except Southwest Missouri saw some. And then I guess we had Wednesday's system that brought some thunder sleet into the area, which, by the way, I hope you're watching this Facebook Live from that night because we mentioned the potential for thunder and we stressed that pretty well. And it came to fruition in a major way. There was a lot of lightning with those storms and a lot of loud lightning, which was pretty cool, especially when it's in winter. And you might have noticed the lightning was muffled a little bit. I always love thunder snow, thunder sleet, thunder freezing rain because since it's so cold, the air is really dense and it like absorbs the sound waves. And so you don't hear it as much. It's a little more muffled, it's a little damper. And also snowflakes are a good absorber of sound waves. So that's why you don't hear the thunder as loud. I mean, yes, it's still loud and it's got a very low frequency when you hear the rumbles. But all right, so back to this. Enough talking about that. Here's this system that's coming in. Napster. That's old school, Jeremy. This is probably going to start as snow and end as snow in Northwest Arkansas. So you might remember January 9th and 10th. That was a storm that came through. Very little sleet mixture in Northwest Arkansas. It was basically started as snow and ended as snow. So this right here, if this happens, and it comes in as expected, which is Tuesday morning, they may say, I don't know, school. It's always tough to see what they're going to do because you don't know this far out. You can't say that for sure. But if this comes to fruition like it's looking, Wednesday for sure will be out. And probably, honestly, the rest of the week. And I say that because it's going to get so cold behind this system. Wait till you see these temperatures. So here's the European model. We've got precipitation. Notice the freezing rain and sleet mixture. That's the pink area in the river valley. I think the river valley will see winter weather and even significant winter weather potential. The impacts will probably be a little less than farther north, but still impacts. And then finally, that system is out of here by late Wednesday morning into the early afternoon. Now, it might not be totally done because there's another weak little wave that comes through. And that makes sense because you've got that little piece of energy. Any little piece of energy can squeeze out some precipitation, including, since it's so cold, there will be the potential for more diamond dust. Diamond dust is when you have snowflakes falling out of a clear blue sky because it turns a water vapor to a solid deposition immediately. Then that system starts moving out, and now we've got the cold to work with. Before we get to the cold, I got to show you these snow totals. So I'm not going to show you the amounts, but this is from basically the amount of accumulation, probably not left on the ground, but it shows you the accumulation from Saturday night. Remember, we have this little Saturday night thing that happens, and it's just a little wintry mix. So by Tuesday evening, we already start seeing accumulation. And then that's obviously the entire length of the system. So you'll notice those pink shades on there. Pink shades are getting up there. In fact, we specifically made this snow scale, which I think looks really good. I'm super excited about it. It was a team effort. Our whole weather team kind of worked together with this. We collaborated back and forth, and I love this. That right there, the lighter gray to white is basically a trace to 2 inches. Once you get to blue, you get over 2 inches. And then once you get into the purples, you got 4 to 8. So the very light purples to pinks is essentially close to 8. And then as we get even higher than that, those pink shades right there is over 8 inches. Now remember, this is just the model, and the models will change. 12 hours from now, it might not show very much at all because I'm going to show you the GFS model. Now remember, the GFS is a little quicker, right? Had that system zipping through a little faster. Here's the precipitation Tuesday, late morning, already starting as a wintry mix. This isn't quite as cold, so it's got a little less of a mix, or it's got a little more of a mix and less of a straight to snow. There you can see that precipitation starting to move out, and it's gone by 7 a.m. Now, remember that GFS, I think, is way too fast. And then it does show that next system trying to move through, but it misses us to the north. So how much snow is the GFS showing? Not nearly as much. As you can see, just barely a trace to a dusting in the river valley, and then that kind of moves out. But we know that the potential is there. The probability for heavy snow is there. So it is something to watch. Also, too, if we do get this snow, which is looking very likely to the north, it is going to be brutally cold. And I'm talking about the coldest weather we've seen since 2021. If you remember, right after the pandemic, Valentine's Day 2021, the deep freeze of Texas took place. Not saying that's for sure going to happen, but the potential is there for some really, really, really cold air. And we're talking destroying records. And my camera wanted to glitch just because it's like, what? Say what? Say what? All right, here's a look at the Arctic plunge. So this is coming in and coming in fast. So there's a look at the plunge that drops in, and look at those purple shades. Now remember, this is at 850 millibars. This is not at the surface. But just to show you, at 850 millibars, when you're below freezing, you're pretty cold. I'm going to show you this graphic right here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and change this. I thought I changed that. So this is the Arctic plunge here. And that blue line that you see on the screen, that is below freezing. So anything north of that is below 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Notice how that drops south pretty quick. So that means that we are below freezing from the surface all the way up. We don't have that warm layer of air anymore. And so that's going to lead to more snow and sleet rather than freezing rain for tomorrow night. Now, as we go in time, that cold air tries to retreat. But Arctic air is pretty stubborn, although last Saturday I was surprised for the polar plunge how much it really did warm, and it actually did get to 70, and that was on February 8th. This weather is crazy. It really is. It's absolutely nuts. People have been saying it's going up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's pretty nuts. But look at this Arctic plunge dropping in, and look at the 850 line, and then look at how far south that goes. I mean, we're talking some frigid air and record cold, I think, farther east. And, so I don't even need to buy a tick and flea topic for this month. Yeah, no, don't think so. You know what's wild is bugs are extremely resilient. Insects just don't die unless it's below freezing for 2 weeks. And I'm already getting stiff. This ain't good. Here's the deal, Laura. My wife has back issues, and when the cold happens, her muscles tense up and her tendons get tight, and it's just like, yeah, she throws her back out. She just doesn't do well in the cold. But look at that. This is going to be, by the way, Edward, this is going to be stronger than the Arctic air that we saw January 9th and 10th. No doubt. Not even close. That was chilly. But this is like crazy numbers, and you'll see them here in just a bit. I'm going to show you. But we're going to look at both models. Here's a look at the wind chill and the temperature. Temperature on the left, wind chill in the blue on the right. And you can see those winds. Well, we'll move along in time. And there is basically, while it's snowing, which will be, by the way, a really wet, a really dry, light, fluffy snow. So this snow will not be good for packing. Oh, no, yeah. Well, just wait, Margaret. Just wait. I'm going to step through this pretty slow. So there's Tuesday. We got a wind chill near 0. Here's Tuesday night. Tuesday night. Here's Wednesday morning. Now, wait. Oh, come on. Watch this at Wednesday, 7 a.m. Like, what? 1, 3 degrees, -1, -1. That's not 850 temperatures anymore. That is the surface temps. And look at the wind chills. 14 to 20 below. And this is while it's snowing. So honestly, these snow totals could be absolutely way off. It could be a lot more because we have such a high snow ratio when it's really cold. Jeremy, you haven't even seen the rest. Just wait. Look as we get into our Wednesday afternoon. I mean, that's 7 degrees for the high. I think this might be a little too cold, in my opinion, according to the model. But that's like some extreme cold. And then watch this. This is nuts. Thursday morning is craziness. Now you got to remember too, if it clears out and we have a snowpack, and a snowpack leads to colder temperatures because you can think about it this way: you put something in the refrigerator, you're pretty cold. This is insane, folks. 6 below zero for the actual temperature, and the wind chill is minus 20 to 25. No, thank you. Look at the river valley near zero. That is insane. If you work outdoors, this is some dangerous cold. You can get frostbite in under 30 minutes. Now, this is a cold that's going to hurt. Does it warm up any during the afternoon? Nope. I mean, this might be pretty extreme. And then we go into Friday morning. Guess what? Another morning on Friday, right around 0 degree wind chills. This is trash. Absolute trash. What I mean by trash is like, that's way too cold. So here's the deal. That's the European model. Maybe a little extreme. Let's see. Let's see what the GFS shows. I'm bringing it up right now. Oh, come on. I guess I don't have it. Do I? I gotta have it. Yeah. Here you go. All right. GFS time. Let's see what it shows. We'll let it load here. Okay, so here's Wednesday morning. It's loading, so you're seeing it go cycle through all this stuff. So the snow's happening. We're in the 20s, and then we drop down to around still pretty darn cold, minus 10 to minus 15. And then highs, they try to warm it up to 20. And then let's see. That's pretty cold. Even the GFS shows that cold as well. Some pretty wicked stuff, man. And then as we move along in time, Thursday still stays cold. Friday's pretty chilly. And then finally it starts warming up. But I mean, folks, this is pretty dangerous again. I remember there were a lot of pipes that burst last 2021. There were some stories of plumbers that were working on homes underneath crawl spaces, underneath homes and crawl spaces, and there was a mist that was happening, and the mist caused this person to freeze on the floor underneath the crawl space in the early morning hours with nobody there. Yeah, say it ain't snow. There's also snow with that cold. Now you tell me that's not melting anytime soon. I'm not going to show totals just because, there's so much uncertainty with the totals. But here's what I will do. I'll show you some probability maps. We'll take a look at what we call probabilities. Now, the thing is that you can't really tell exactly what's going to happen this far out because we don't have the certainty. But we know that cold weather is definitely coming. And so that is a concern. And we'll take a look here. Potential impacts. Enter. There we go. All right. There you go. So I'm going to bring this up on this page here. Share screen. So power outages won't be the only thing that could cause power outages is everybody trying to heat their home and then having a basic issue. So this, by the way, is the percentage of at least 0.1 inches. Now, keep in mind this only goes to Monday, February 16th, so it doesn't go out far enough. But the chance of seeing at least 0.1 inches of snowfall is about 37%. Greater than 1 inch or equal to is about 4%. So the probability is extremely low. But that doesn't go far enough out. That only goes until Monday, and the snow is basically coming Tuesday. Let me show you that again. I don't even think you saw it, unfortunately. Let me go back here. Forecasts. Okay. So this is here, add the stage. All right. So this is a graphic from the National Weather Service out of Tulsa, and they're called probabilistic forecasts. And this is their winter page. And so this only goes, as you see, 6 p.m. Monday, February 17th. This is before the next big winter system. This is for this weekend. It shows about 0.1 inches, has a probability of about 37%, a little more in southwest Missouri. Greater than or equal to 1 inch, only about 4%. So that's pretty low. That's nothing super major. But we need to go to long range because you go here and you look at the day 5 outlook, and there's a 50 to 75% chance of liquid exceeding 0.25 inches. Now, 0.25 inches, that's not only a quarter inch of snow. That's the liquid equivalent. These are snow and ice observations, the winter storm severity outlook. You go here, and this doesn't go far enough. So we look at the probability of exceeding warning criteria, doesn't show up because there's nothing there. That's only going through day 1 through 4. If we go to winter here, we can look at what's called the experimental probabilistic portal, which is exactly what you just saw from the Weather Service. The problem is that you're not going. It doesn't go out far enough. What will go out far enough is this. I'll bring this up. So Weather Bell will go out far enough. And if we go into this, we can go into what's called the European ensemble, and you go into probabilities winter, and then we look at this, and then what we're going to do is go to U.S. states. Actually, we're going to go to regions, and we're going to go South Central. So this does go out far enough. Let me make sure that you're seeing that. You are. And as we move along in time, here comes the probability of greater than or equal to 1 inch of snow. And that's pretty high. So you can see that's basically over us, and that's 90 to 100%, greater than 1 inch, according to the European model. But we can come up here, we can look at the GFS ensemble, and it shows a lot less. Remember, that system is a little faster. But you can look at temperatures. If we go here, probability of temperatures near 0, you're going to notice that that's getting pretty darn close to our area. And we look at the European ensembles, and those probabilities are also very close to getting near 0. So basically 80 to 90% that we hit 0 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. That's some pretty cold weather. That's some pretty cold weather. So to sum up everything in a nutshell, basically, as I close out this Facebook Live on this Valentine's Day, and we'll answer some questions for the next 10 minutes before our newscast or about that. This is basically, to sum it up, our weather headlines. So we got a wintry mix Saturday night, rain, sleet to snow. We've got cold weather expected Sunday. We've got major winter storm potential for Tuesday through Wednesday. And then we got dangerous record cold. Honestly, no laughing matter. This is some pretty cold weather coming. And the chance of it being dangerously cold, pretty likely. All right. Let's go to some questions. I know, so depressing. I'm so tired of winter. Birds are eating food like crazy. I bet. They know. Nature knows. This is a funny comment. Where is the brodo with the hodo? See, we like that comment so much, Mr. Ferguson, that we're talking about the tornado potential, and this is the meme that we made. Yeah, I'm live. Yeah, hodo brodos assemble. Do you need in here? Hey Tracy, do you need in here? You know what, Edward? We'll leave the 8 ball at rest. We'll show him some love on Valentine's Day. 8 ball was pretty annoying. Could you just lie to me? Say sunny at 75. I can. Some people think I lie all the time. That's all I do is lie. You love winter weather? Well, you'll love this. This will be the week for you, for sure. The Hodo Brodos assemble. It's hilarious. All right, so we have some questions here. We'll get to them. Actually, a real decent question. So, give us your opinion on if this could be full sleet and snow event for both Northwest Arkansas, or will the first part of the precip be rain for the River Valley? I think a little bit of rain for the River Valley, which makes it obviously dangerous because it does get really cold really fast, and that really cold really fast could lead to flash freeze potential too. It's like, what else can we throw on this? Oh, Shayla. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you. Hope you are having an amazing day. I like that. Something no one wants. I think there's some people that do. Like this guy, Josh Myers. That's all he does. Hashtags needs more blizzards. He loves snow. He is a snow lover. Saw a model calling for 11 inches next week. Of course, there's going to be models. The fact that you see that and that you know that, either you're looking at the models, Jesse, or someone's posting snow totals with a model. And I just think that's irresponsible. We've already mentioned that before. Any idea on snow to liquid ratios yet? You know, that is a good question. Let's look at it here. And what I can do is I can load it up on BuffKit. And with BuffKit, we can get those snow to liquid ratios. So stand by here. And give me just a few seconds here to download that. Well, I guess the camera never followed me. Get profiles. All right. Let's see here. That wind picked up fast and it's going strong. It is, and there's thunderstorms. In fact, check out Mega Doppler here. We got thunderstorms all over the place in the River Valley. And honestly, this is where a lot of the energy is going to be, is in the River Valley. And the models have been kind of hinting at that. All right, so just joined. Any snowfall accumulation map yet? Nope, too far out for accumulation maps. But we did show these two graphics. So this is one, the snowfall from the European, which is pretty bullish. It's got a lot of snow potential. And you can kind of look at the scale up at the top. Now, we're not showing this as an accumulation map. This is just what the model shows. And the GFS is a little quicker. with the system, not quite as strong, but yet it still shows snow. And that's less of a glancing blow. Not going to make an accumulation map 4 5 days out. That's just way too early. But know that the potential is there for impactful winter weather. Here's something else to look at too. The day 3 through 7 outlook, which is super confusing when you look at it because it's just got stuff everywhere. Uh, stand by, I'll show you here. So here's the Weather Prediction Center hazards for days. So this right here is the potential for heavy snow, basically Tuesday night into Wednesday. And you can see that that's focused across southwest Missouri. The other stuff surrounding it is really cold. That's rain. And so extreme cold is coming. There's always a chance for a pump fake. You know, that can always happen. All right, let's take a look here at these snow ratios. I'm pretty sure they're going to be around 20 to 25 to 1, especially when the cold really starts to pour in. So because I don't have the European on Buff Kit, we will look at it on the GFS, the very latest one. And let's see, is there anything that shows up on Saturday? So Saturday is very limited. In fact, it really doesn't even have any ice crystals, to be honest with you, on Saturday. So here is, wrong view. There we go. Yeah, so I got to zoom out here a little bit. That's way too zoomed in. I'll show you this, what I'm looking at. A couple computer models. And then we're going to shut it on down. You need in here, Katie? You can. Come on in. Come on in.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. All right. So real quick, we're still live, but you can come on in. No worries. All right. So this is the computer model sounding, and that shows rain on Tuesday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So precipitation starts essentially late morning. This is, remember, Fayetteville. Shows maybe a brief period of freezing rain that changes over to sleet. If we look at the precip type, you can see we're freezing rain. Now we're getting into ice pellets. And now watch that cold air start getting deeper. How do we know that? This blue line right here is the freezing line. Anything to the left of that is below freezing. And so there you see the snow happening, and then it kind of clears out. So it's pretty quick. But if we look at and go to overview, we can look at our ratios here. And it does appear that when it's snowing Wednesday, you can see it right here, it's pretty much like a 20, 25 to 1 snow ratio. And if we look at snow accumulation, precipitation accumulation. So if we look at 120 hours, and 2, yeah, so it basically is, it gets up to like a 20, 25 to 1, which is, that's a lot. Initially, it's around a 10 to 1, and then you can see how it increases with time. Icing, maybe a little bit, but not a lot. And so max temp and profile, about a 15 to 1. And so that shows the snow. It's only like an inch. It's not super much, but yeah, I can. But I'm about to shut this down here. Jesse's asked about that. So real quick, and then I gotta shut this down because we got a show coming up. You can turn on the lights, by the way, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so this is the snow to liquid ratios. So you might remember last January 9th and 10th, we had essentially warmer temperatures. It was a very fluffy, it was a very mushy snow. It was real wet, real heavy. So that had a lot of water content to it. So if you take 1 inch of water, that's the one at the end of the ratio. And the first number is the amount of inches of snow that 1 inch of water will create. So a wet snow is a very low ratio, meaning you have to have 1 inch of water, liquid equivalent, that would only equal 7 inches of snow. If you get a little colder around 32, you got a 10-to-1 ratio. Means 10 inches of snow, and if you melted that down, it would equal 1 inch of water. But when you have very dry snow, such as temperatures very cold, that means 1 inch of liquid equivalent would lead to 25 inches of snow. Now, why is that? Well, because think of feathers. You're piling up feathers, they're not going to be flat, they're going to be kind of fluffy. Or think of a foam pit that you jump into. It just takes a little bit of foam in order for you to pile it up a lot quicker. So a fluffy, dry snow is bad for packing snowmen and snowballs, but it is awesome for accumulating. So you can get a lot of heavy accumulation from that. So that is what makes different snow ratios tick. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this Facebook Live. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. And remember, we've got major system coming in, dangerous cold that's expected, and just be ready. We'll be talking about it. Zach will keep you updated. We do have a live blog, by the way, on our website. So if you go to knwa.com, I will show you this, and that's how we are going to end the stream. So if we go to knwa.com as that loads, excuse me. All right, hold on just a second. So if you go to knwa.com or nwahomepage.com, this is our live weather blog. It's right here. You click on it. Zach will be updating this over the weekend, and it's got these little entries right here. You can see them right here. So there's all the information. There's all the different graphics. We'll keep you updated. We'll keep you advised, and we'll keep you safe. All right. So enjoy. Take care. Have a good one. And God bless. We will see you later.